What's going on, everyone? So, according to Kevin McCormack, released an article talking about the Lakers, Jarred Vanderbilt being a target for the Philadelphia 76ers. LA Lakers forward listed as potential Sixers trade target. Would Jarred Vanderbilt be a good fit on the Sixers? A talented, versatile defender who can switch from bigs to wings, Vanderbilt brings the kind of defense that Philly will need from its role players. The 25-year-old has good size at 6'8" and is beginning a very reasonable 4-year, $48 million contract this season. Now, Jarred Vanderbilt obviously is one of, if not the best on-ball perimeter defender in the league. When he is good and healthy and on his game, there is very few, if any, that are even comparable to Jarred Vanderbilt. I mean, from stats to eye tests to you name it. Problem is, Jarred Vanderbilt has a injury history, and once again, he is injured and questionable to start the beginning of the season. Now, he is supposed to be ruled out for both training camp and preseason. We're kind of still waiting on what's going to happen with the regular season, but this is a guy that we had expectations to play a big role this year. And last year, we all season were like, okay, when Jarred Vanderbilt comes back, when Jarred Vanderbilt comes back, when Jarred Vanderbilt comes back, and he just never really came back, right? And supposedly he was ready for, what was it, Game 5, I believe, of the NBA playoffs, and he didn't even play. And it was like, why didn't he play? And it's like, oh, well, he still has a foot injury. So now it kind of makes sense. And again, the best ability is availability. I love Jarred Vanderbilt. I've talked repeatedly about how the Lakers need to start Jarred Vanderbilt over Rui and these other guys. Even last year, right? When the Lakers were 9-0 with Rui Hachimura, I talked about the balance and my concerns of when you go with Rui Hachimura, what happens when the offense dries up? And I understand Jarred Vanderbilt isn't this great offensive threat, but it's easy to just pull a guy out and make adjustments if you need more offense. Right? But you need to also be able to stop guys. You need to have that balance, and you trust that the coaching can put Jarred Vanderbilt in a position to at least be serviceable offensively, right? Obviously, we'll see what he's worked on and if he improves shooting the basketball, but, you kind of go through the history of his career, and, he's had years where he's played 78 games, right? Like, that's great. You look at 2022, 2023, right? When he first came to the Lakers, he played 26 games for the Lakers, but he also played 52 games for Utah. So 78 games, that's great. But you look at the previous years, like 74, 64, right? Now, if this year he continues to have his struggles and he's not healthy and he's not right, there is an argument to trade him. There is an argument to maybe look to move off of him before, you get to the point where you're unable to trade him. Now, you could argue just kind of keeping him and having him just kind of be a specialty player, right? Especially at $12 million a year, right? Where, you're basically just plugging him in small doses as just like, hey, we're going to play you 4 minutes a quarter. And each of those minutes, your job is just to put all of your effort and energy into that offensive player, right? Kyrie, Luka, whomever, right? I don't hate the idea, but if you can get a real position of need, plus also kind of go make a move to maybe replace Jarred Vanderbilt, right? So if you were to be able to bring in a Jeremy Grant, right? Is it a little more digestible now to move off of Jarred Vanderbilt? Again, I love Jarred Vanderbilt. I'm not saying that they absolutely should trade him, but if the guy can't stay healthy, and he's only playing 40 games a season, right? And, he's not healthy come the playoffs, right? What's the point of keeping him on the roster at all, right? Do you kind of just try to trade him and rather than go through the gamble? Because it is a gamble, right? You stick with him. And if he doesn't stay healthy, and now you get to the point where you can't really move him, it's an issue, right? Where right now, you could probably move, not literally right this second, just because, teams are going to want to see that Jarred Vanderbilt is healthy. But, let's say he misses the first 5 games, right? And he comes back And, by the trade deadline, he's looked good. Maybe he's missed a game here and there, but, he's played a good majority. There's trade interest in Jarred Vanderbilt. It's like, okay, teams are calling and acquiring for Jarred Vanderbilt. Do you look to move him? Right? Like, I'm not saying you trade him just to trade him. I'm not saying you just, let's just unload him to get off his salary or anything like that. No. Nothing like that. It has to be a deal that makes sense. But I don't and I was somebody that was like, I trade everybody else on the roster, not named Jarred Vanderbilt. Right? Obviously, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, no. But, all the other guys. Like, you could trade everyone, keep Jarred Vanderbilt, because it's just so hard to replace his skill set, especially in today's league. But, again, the best ability is availability. Now, as far as a team like the Sixers go, the problem is, what do they have that the Lakers need? Right? Like, Andre Drummond would be nice, right? But, outside of that, it's like, what, you taking a flyer on like a Ricky Council, a Max Fielder, who are you trading for, right? Who are you getting in return for Jarred Vanderbilt? Because the key role guys, they're not gonna. One, Philly's probably not gonna want to trade. And two, which key role guys would the Lakers want, right? Like Eric Gordon, no. Reggie Jackson, no. Do you take a flyer on like a David Jones, Caleb Martin? Kyle Lowry, no. Right? It's like, who on the Sixers would you actually be looking to acquire or make a move for? Right? Like, none of these guys really move the needle the way that you need them to, or make sense as an upgraded or even just lateral type trade, filling another need. Right? KJ Martin, they're not going to trade Jared McCain. I mean, if you could do that, I would do that. But, Kelly Oubre would be nice, but they're probably going to want to keep Oubre, right? And then, Ubisili is 6'8". Right? It's just like, who are you trading for? So chances are you're probably looking for a third team, right? To where, maybe a third team has a guy that you're interested in and that you like, that maybe you can make a move, right? I don't really see Jarred Vanderbilt getting moved to the Sixers, but it is good that there's at least conversations of teams interested, right? And there will be more teams interested. And, especially as you get closer. And look, the Lakers have been shopping him this offseason. I mean, there were reports that the Lakers were curious about Jarred Vanderbilt. And the Portland Trail Blazers, based on reports originally, wanted Rui Hachimura and Jarred Vanderbilt for Jeremy Grant. However, they also still wanted the first and stuff, which doesn't make sense. Now, if you could just basically flip Rui Hachimura and Jarred Vanderbilt into Jeremy Grant and, not have to give up first, maybe you're giving up, a pick swap or something and you can keep your first, I don't hate that idea. Right now, if you have to give Jarred Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and a first, then no, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd rather stick with the Rui, Gabe Vincent, and Cam Reddish package and add a first. But if you can basically go hey, instead of giving you a first, we'll give you Jarred Vanderbilt, and now you still have your two firsts, and you still have D'Lo and Gabe Vincent's contract to trade, right? So that gets you another $30 million in salary, and now you got Jeremy Grant, and now maybe go make a trade for a center and another piece, right? You could still get to 30 plus million. And I don't hate that idea, right? Again, everything comes down to cost. Everything comes down to what will it, what is the other team looking for, right? And look, I want to keep Jarred Vanderbilt, but it is a gamble, right? It is. It's a gamble right now. And as great of a skill set as he has, and as good as he is on that one side of the basketball, he's been a journeyman for a reason. Primarily because of his lack of offense, but it's also been in part being able to stay healthy and on the basketball court. And now he has this foot injury that we still don't really know all the details on. We still don't know really the ins and outs on everything. But now you have this foot injury, and it's we've seen this script, right? We've seen this story where a guy gets a foot injury, doesn't go get the surgery, and then it just becomes a persistent, lingering issue that affects their entire career. And that's the last thing the Lakers need, right? Like, the Lakers just aren't in a position to run the risk, right? Like, as much as I like Jarred Vanderbilt, right? Like, I'm all for them taking a gamble, right? I've talked about taking a gamble on, like, a Zach LaVine or something like that. But at least Zach LaVine, the ceiling is higher, right? Like, Zach LaVine, when healthy, gives you a real ceiling raiser. Jarred Vanderbilt, when healthy, yes, makes the Lakers a lot better, but are they like, watch out, all-world beating type of team where a guy like Zach LaVine, if the fit works the way that it should, right? Like, you're probably one of the 3 to 5 best teams in the league at that point. Both have injury issues. My thing is that, like, if you're going to take a gamble on an injury issue or injury history, take the guy with the bigger upside, right? Zach LaVine would just provide so much more. Now, I'd love to keep Jarred Vanderbilt and Zach LaVine, but, I'm just talking about, because I've talked about Zach LaVine, and I just know somebody's going to be like, well, like, you're willing to take the gamble on Zach LaVine, but not on Jarred Vanderbilt. And it's like, yeah, because, again, like, we saw him in the playoffs get played off the floor. We saw him in the playoffs become a liability at times. Right? Zach LaVine on a bad night is going to go get you 15, and he can still make plays and do other things. Right? And still a threat that teams got to watch out for. And can still apply rim pressure and get to the foul line. It's just, again, give me the higher upside. Again, I don't want to trade Jarred Vanderbilt. I don't. But if the right deal or move is there, I think you do it. Right? Where maybe you're a little more hesitant. Right? If he's healthy, you're kind of like, do we really want to trade him? Is that really what we want to do here? But like now, it's like if there's a good deal on the table, are you kind of like, all right, let's just get it done? All right, let's just do it. Let's just make that move. Right? Again, like if you could if you could save your firsts and basically add Jarred Vanderbilt instead, and, like I said, maybe throw in like a pick swap or something and get a guy, maybe it's Cam Johnson or something like that, right? Like maybe it's not even Jarred Vanderbilt or Jeremy Grant, right? Like maybe you're getting a guy like a Cam Johnson and you're doing like a Vando and Gabe Vincent. I think that clears his salary. If you have to, you throw in like a vet minimum guy. But I think Cam Johnson's only making like, $22 million, something like that. So basically Vando and Gabe Vincent would get you there, if not close. Like I said, maybe throwing in a Cam Reddish. Okay, fine. Like, but if you can do that, not have to give up a first. Like I said, maybe giving up a pick swap or a couple seconds or something like, sure, do that all day, in my opinion. Right? And you got that guy. Now you have all your first. You still have Rui. You'd still have, D'Angelo Russell. Right? You still have, another $40 million in salary if you wanted to. I mean, if you're willing to trade Jarred Vanderbilt, you could get Cam Johnson and Zach LaVine at that point. So just things to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that they should at least explore the possibility? What do you think of the Sixers being interested in Jarred Vanderbilt? Is there anyone on the Sixers that you would want? Obviously, again, they're not trading Maxey or anything silly like that. But, is there any of like the flyer guys, like say Council or something like that, that you'd be interested maybe taking a flyer on? Or do you think like, you got to do a third team? Again, I feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.